Transportation. So I've had the pleasure of working with him over the last couple of years, getting great advice from him along the trail getting here, and then meeting with the superintendents a year ago, meeting with the superintendents again today for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just a wealth of information and great ideas and a true leader. So let's hear it for Ken Young. Thank you. And thank you, Cindy. Thank you, the whole Chamber of Commerce. I really appreciate your coming together like this, your interest. As the mayor was sharing with me, there are chambers of commerce and there are chambers of commerce, and there are the chambers of commerce that do the brochure and shop local, and then there are the chambers of commerce that are involved in all dimensions of the life of your community and your economy and your future, and tied together, working on various task force and committees to improve the life of our community, and especially the life of our schools and the future employees of our community. So thank you. Let's hear for the Chamber of Commerce team. And then I have a couple of secret weapons, and I've been here a couple of different times to help with the community. I was chairman of the Senate Housing and Transportation Committee, did a lot of work on goods movement, getting some money for the Inland Empire and the corridors we ship goods through, and working on economic development, jobs being a key goal. And one of my great connections here in this community is your mayor. We go back many, many years working together. I was a county supervisor and a city councilman too, and so Ron and I are good friends, and I just appreciate your leadership. And when I first met him, did I tell you the story? A few of you have heard it, but there's a major street in the community where I live, Loveridge Boulevard. And I said, there can't be too many leverages around. There's a lot of leveraging around, but not too many leverages. And it turns out his grandfather was one of the founders of the Pittsburgh community, and this big boulevard was named after his grandfather. So we've had a mutual connection and friendship for many, many years. So hearing it for your great mayor. And appreciate that history that we've had together. And he shared with me a unique partnership. 1 out of 4 communities in the United States was chosen to work on college readiness and getting more young people to see themselves educated beyond high school, not dropping out, educated beyond high school, going on to higher education, and getting the skills to come back and work and contribute to this community. So I commend all of you in this partnership that is funded by the Gates Foundation, but it's going to work because of all of you working together. Now the second secret weapon I have is someone that some of you know, but he says to say hi, and then he gave me Ron Loveridge's home number to answer any calls, complaints. But this is Rich Zeiger. Any of you know Rich Zeiger? He was a reporter for the Riverside Press Democrat for 14 years, and then he went and worked for the California Journal in Sacramento and became chief of staff for a couple of people. I hired him to be my chief of staff in the Senate, and now he's deputy chief. He's the head of all of the Department of Education for California. So that's our other Riverside connection. So he said to say hello. You know.
Yes,
you know
well.
Okay, good. And Cindy, you're leading a delegation up to his office this coming week, correct?
We have a group, yes, a Monday morning group that's going up to Sacramento next week, and so we'll be meeting with your team. But you also have this one you have to introduce.
Great. I was just going to. Cindy's very good. You're a good coach. But someone else I'll introduce is very special to me, of course, and helps me with my optimism in life, and that's my daughter, Tamara, who's here today. So she's a wonder, and she, for all kind of reasons I can't figure out exactly why, she decided she likes politics a little bit, so she works for a political consulting firm and works in Sacramento, so we get to see each other a couple times a week and work out and share what's going on. And I've been around the state and appreciated the chance to meet with business leaders, community leaders, education leaders around the state. And I'm asking this question at the beginning of all these dialogues, because I want it to be a dialogue. I'm also here to listen, not to just talk. But I want to ask, how many of you are optimists? Just raise your hand if you're an optimist. There's a few people that aren't raising their hand. And Dana again. Well, she's busy writing for the Press Democrat, right? But I think she's an optimist too. But I think we're all fundamentally optimists. That's why we're involved in our community. And that's why you're here tonight. You care about education. You care about the future of Riverside. And that's an optimism, I think, that binds us all. And in the middle of this economic crisis, this huge budget crisis, this crisis in education that we're facing, I think that's something I keep coming back to as a real motivator for me, that we're bound together by a sense of optimism. Now, I've got more reason to be optimistic in life. I've been on the job a month and 2 weeks, but I've been on another job for a year and 2 weeks, and that's being a granddad. So my older daughter, Tiffany, just had a baby boy about a year, 2 weeks back. Anthony was going pound by pound, getting bigger, but he's just a bundle of movement, curiosity, exploration, checking everything out. And I'm looking around the room. Maybe one or two of you have grandkids, but we remember our kids, right? And if not your grandkids, your nieces and nephews. And that's the natural yearning for information, for learning about the world, and then all of our yearning for our kids to succeed. So that's, again, a source of my optimism, is watching my little grandson move around. He took his first few steps walking this past weekend when I was over there, so that was fun to watch. Another sense of optimism I have is just meeting with students. I teach at a community college. I teach one course, the Wild Wild West of California politics. I used to be a science teacher, so I was recently back down to Scripps, meeting with graduate students and meeting with people who connect to young people who I find, as I work with my college students and I work with high school students and we talk to these graduate students in places like Scripps, they really want to contribute. They want to change the world. They want to make it better. And that also is a source of my optimism, that these young people see a place where they're going to fit in. Now, we have a lot of work to do to get it. We were just talking about the terrible dropout rate and the number of students who don't see a place to fit in. So part of my job is to help us get the finances necessary to have the schools work well, to work with the superintendents on innovative ideas. And a number of those include career education. I'm very big on career education, both college readiness and career readiness. Get our young people focused on a place where they have their dreams, their parents have their dreams for these young people, and how do we give them the skills so they will succeed in the international and global economy and succeed right here in Riverside, locally. So I have a whole series of ideas and plans to do that, including a lot of getting technology. As the classrooms have gotten more and more crowded, we've got to think more creatively about what we can do, and computers and access to the internet and the marvelous software for learning math and language. Science is just incredible as a learning tool, and it's a great aid to teachers in crowded classrooms. So those are a number of the ideas and initiatives that we're working on. Some of you know that I declared a state of financial emergency for the schools of California a few weeks back. We are in dire straits in terms of the budget. 1/3 of our public education dollars have disappeared in the last 3 years, $18 billion. And you think about what that means right here in Riverside County. I know Rick's grappling with it, and all the other superintendents I've been meeting with, Ken's been grappling with it. So we have a choice and a chance to talk about the future of education in California coming up on the ballot. We hope it'll get on the ballot, so we'll have that debate. And so as a business community, I know you're really concerned because taxes and how they're spent is really an important topic. And so I look forward to answering questions you might have and hearing some comments you might have about that. But I believe our governor has taken a bold step to say the budget is busted, the smoke and mirrors and games and tricks that have been played by the legislature and previous governors over several years have taken the state to near financial ruin. And it's been very bad for our economy, and it's slowed our recovery. But he's having that candid conversation, saying I'll cut deeply in a whole bunch of programs I don't want to cut, including education. But I also am asking the people of California to consider investing, continuing a set of taxes that have been on the books for the last 2 years. So I'll urge you to consider that too, and talk to you a little bit more about that when we go through our conversation in a minute. I'm still that optimist, I'll tell you, and I believe that California is resilient. We're creative. We have businessmen and women like yourselves who are willing to risk a lot to take your ideas and build businesses, take your creativity and make new inventions. We have a great state. We're still leading the world in that respect, in my opinion. And I'm an optimist that we're going to come through this crisis stronger than when we entered it, and that we'll rebound slowly, but we'll rebound and we'll be stronger for it. We're not going to waste a crisis, as they say, by not looking at opportunities. So Rick and Paul and Ken and the other superintendents in this room and your mayor, your school board leaders, we're looking at how do we reshape our education system too, so it's more modern, more globally competitive, and prepare our young people for their dreams and the parents' dreams. I'm really looking forward to talking to you, and I want to start off seeing if you have any questions and any comment from Mayor Ron Leverage, my good friend.
Tom, thank you for being here. Thank you for your very warm and thoughtful introductory comments. And it maybe is this question of how we can work more effectively together that I mean, you're coming to us, and I guess we also want to extend our hand of how we can be of help.
Well, in a number of areas, I find some of the best schools in California are ones where the business community's been involved in some way. There's partnership academies where different kinds of businesses, whether it's construction or medicine, biological and pharmaceutical sciences, whether it's digital and computer sciences, these theme schools where the business community is partnered also have a very good effect on getting kids motivated, reducing the dropout rate, and increasing the college going rate. Some schools, the Chamber of Commerce is very involved, like in Valley High School in Santa Ana, the Chamber has sort of adopted the high school and not only has mentoring opportunities and internships in their businesses. A lot of guest speakers come to the school, but they also actually give advice to the school board and the school on how to run and be more effective and efficient along the way. So that's one way. The partnership with cities, I'm going to be launching the literacy campaign. We can talk a little bit more about that, and a campaign for healthy kids for California, where we can get the cities, businesses, schools, county, all working together